Good morning students, welcome back. So in today's class we are going to discuss about the mechanism of adsorption. So already I told you about this mechanism, but the video was blur, so I am repeating this. So please concentrate on this. Mechanism of adsorption involves the surface energy as it is exothermic process, how it is going to release the energy, and what about the change in enthalpy as well as the entropy, that is about the spontaneous. Both can be explained through the Gibbs equation. So coming to the surface energy, here the surface of the solid will be always imbalanced. Okay, so it will not be even. So whenever we will get a new surface, the surface area will be having an imbalanced energy. So in order to balance it, always the surface of the solid will attract the adsorbate towards it to adsorb. Okay, so for example, consider this as a surface of the solid. The surface will be like this. So this you can say as a imbalanced energy. Okay, and here will be the adsorbate. In order to balance this imbalanced energy, the surface of the solid will attract the adsorbate towards it to balance the energy. So that is about the surface energy, how the adsorption takes place. So this is the main reason why adsorption takes place on the solid surface, okay, due to the imbalanced energy. And whenever the adsorption process takes place, the energy will be lowered here, and those energy will be released in the form of heat to the surrounding. So that's why it is an exothermic reaction. So here the adsorption takes place between the adsorbate and adsorbent, and a bond is going to create. And you know that whenever a bond is created, the energy will be released in the form of heat. Okay, whenever a bond is broken, energy will be absorbed, and whenever a bond is created, the energy will be released in the form of heat. Since it is exothermic reaction, the change in enthalpy will be always negative. Okay, and it is a spontaneous reaction. You know that spontaneous will take place itself without the help of any external influence. In order to balance the energy, adsorption takes place, and itself it is going to take place. Therefore it is spontaneous, lower energy. And spontaneous reaction ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ energy level decrease ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. And whenever the energy level is less, the process will become stable. In order to attain the stability, the energy will be lowered, and as it is spontaneous, the change in entropy will be equal to negative. Okay, the change in entropy will be equal to positive. Delta S ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, positive ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, and change in enthalpy will be equal to negative. So both along with the heat in the form of temperature can be explained through Gibbs equation. What is the Gibbs equation? Delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. So this is a Gibbs free energy change is equal to change in enthalpy minus temperature in Kelvin and change in entropy, that is spontaneity. Okay, so this is called as an equation, that is Gibbs equation. Through this equation we can explain the mechanism of adsorption, how the changes will occur. So since it is an exothermic, delta H will be negative. If I am going to apply the value that is sign negative, the whole equation if I am going to multiply with the sign, negative sign, then minus delta G is equal to minus delta H, minus into minus here will be plus T delta S. And here you can observe delta H has become negative, it is exothermic. Delta S has become positive since it is spontaneous, and what we are going to get here is the change in free energy will be lowered. So negative change in the free energy. So always here the free energy value will be lowered. So at the particular time what happens? The enthalpy change will become less and less, that is more and more negative value, as well as delta S will also become more and more high, that is spontaneous, in order to get the lower energy. So at a particular time what happens, delta H will become equal to T delta S. Then delta G value will become 0. If we get delta G is equal to 0, then that state can be called as an equilibrium state. Okay, so equilibrium state na attain ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. But whenever the process, that is adsorption, occurs, always free energy change will be negative. But after some time, until the imbalanced energy get balanced, adu negative ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Once the energy get balanced, then it will attain the equilibrium stage. So whenever we cut a surface of the solids, new surfaces are going to obtain, which are also having imbalanced energy, and more adsorption is going to happen. So surface area ನಾನು ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆನ್ನೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಅಡ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಏರಿಯಾ ಕೂಡ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಲ ನಾವು ಸಾಲಿಡನ್ನು ಚಿಕ್ಕದಾಗಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಅಥವಾ ಹೊಸ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ಗಳು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅಡ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನ್ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹಿಯರ್ ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸೋಥರ್ಮಿಕ್, ಹೈಯರ್ ಟೆಂಪ್ರೇಚರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫ್ಲುಯೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಡ್ಸಾರ್ಪ್ಷನನ್ನು. ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿಫರ್ ಲೋವರ್ ಟೆಂಪರೇಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಹೈ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್. Only at the lower temperature you can expect the equilibrium. So lower temperature alli adsorption process ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. If the temperature is increased, then desorption takes place, that is reverse adsorption you can say. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ಸಾರ್ಬ್ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ ಮಾಲಿಕ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ವಾಪಸ್ ಅದರ ಪ್ಲೇಸಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ if we provide high temperature. So always, since it is exothermic, lower temperature should be maintained. Okay, so this is about today's class, that is revision of mechanism of adsorption. Thank you, students.